Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. We have a brand new video here for you today. A lot of news coming out of WWE on November 4th, 2021. Tonight, we have another round of mass WWE releases. Some surprising names and some not as familiar names. We'll get into that. They were both from the NXT side of things and the main roster, Raw and SmackDown, both getting talent released. Sucks hearing about that, especially with the holidays coming up. You hate hearing about people being out of work and having to struggle. So I hope all of these folks can, stay good and stay on their feet and find work, whether they continue to pursue a career in professional wrestling or otherwise. As I stated, this round of releases impacted both NXT and the main roster. We'll go ahead and dive into the NXT side of things. I'll talk about the first three names that I am familiar with. The other five I'm not familiar with, so if you are, chime in down below in the comments and get me up to speed on them. So the first two names I'm going to talk about are from the NXT women's division. I am a fan of both of these women. The first being Frankie Monet, the former Taya Valkyrie of Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground. The next being a former NXT women's champion and women's tag team champion, Ember Moon. Both of these women could have contributed to either Raw or SmackDown's respective women's divisions. And it is a shame that did not get to happen. I know Ember Moon had a brief spell on Raw. She got injured and came back to NXT. She hasn't been on NXT TV recently that I can remember. She wasn't at Halloween Havoc. I was assuming that she was injured again. I don't know, but kind of surprised to see those two released from NXT. The NXT women's division actually getting the brunt of these releases thus far. And at the time of this recording, all these names that I list to you, ladies and gentlemen, are the names that have been announced. So I don't know yet if there are going to be any more releases. But if there are, you'll definitely get it from your boy right here on the channel covering it for you. The next name that I'm going to talk about from NXT, Oni Lorcan, released, a former NXT Tag Team Champion. It's been fun watching some of his matches on the Black and Gold brand, or, well, what was the Black and Gold brand. I'm sure he'll bounce back. I can see him working well in MLW or NWA, possibly GCW or PWG. Maybe making some AEW shots. Who knows? Now, the next five names I am not super familiar with, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Jessi Kamea, Katrina Cortez, Jeet Rama, Trey Baxter, and Zeta Ramir. They have all as well been released from NXT. Now, let's head over to the Raw and SmackDown side of things. I'm going to start off with another two wrestlers. These two guys I am not surprised about. Gran Metalik and Lance Dorado, former members of the Lucha House Party. As a matter of fact, we just saw the former Kalisto compete last night on Dynamite, and that was a treat. These two, it's not a surprise to me. It's probably not a surprise to you either. These two guys have made it known that they've asked for their release from the company. I'm not surprised that the company's released them now. If they don't want to be there, why have them around? But they're two talented dudes. I'm sure whether they compete together or singles careers, they can go find work elsewhere and make some magic happen. Well, where they'll land, I'm not for sure. So tell me where you think they're going to land. B-Fab, who was just recently drafted to SmackDown as a part of Hit Row. I don't know if she has prior wrestling experience. You guys are going to have to let me know that. But I am very surprised by that one. I kind of curious as to why they're already kind of splitting Hit Row up. Yeah, that one's kind of news to me. Harry Smith is another one. Son of the British Bulldog. He was doing dark matches earlier this year for the company. There was rumor that he was going to go to NXT UK. Nothing happened from that. I could see him possibly heading back to MLW or even doing work with Impact. I don't know what that relationship with New Japan is like now, but he really impressed me in MLW and New Japan. Big Harry Smith fan. I hope he can do some more good stuff. Eva Marie, who was on, very much like Harry Smith, was recently brought back to the company this year. She's been featured on Raw. with a partnership with Dewdrop, who's actually gotten more of a push than Eva has. Dewdrop being a finals participant in the Queen's Crown tournament at Crown Jewel. Coming up short on that note, though. But yeah, I think the last we saw of Eva Marie, she was getting her arm stomped on by Shayna Baszler. I don't think we've seen her on television since then. But yeah, kind of surprised that she was released, seeing as they just brought her back. Another woman released, Nia Jax. Nia Jax, part of the legendary Anoa'i family, a former Raw Women's Champion, has had WrestleMania matches. She, in fact, won the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 34 against Alexa Bliss. Also, one of the most dangerous workers I believe I have ever seen as a fan of wrestling. Poor Kairi Sane last year. They just kept feeding this woman the Nia Jax. And I don't mean this out of hate, but it's apparent. It is apparent. I mean, up a couple weeks ago, there was that whole weird altercation in the ring with Charlotte Flair, whatever that was about. Nia Jax, just very unsafe. Will she continue a career in wrestling? If somebody wants to pick her up, but she has a track record of hurting people. Do you want that? And now the final four names that I am extremely sad and disappointed to see that nothing was really done with their time on the main roster. The first, former two-time NXT champion Karrion Kross and Scarlett, released from the company. Scarlett never even appeared on Raw. Has had no main roster appearances at all. It's really just been Kross in his gladiator mask and all of the changes that has been made to his presentation since he left NXT. I haven't been a fan of it. I just haven't. I do like the guy. I like the guy's work. I don't see him going back to Impact. I know he was doing shots for MLW before he went to WWE. I could certainly see Tony Khan signing up Karrion Kross and Scarlett, as well as this couple, this other real-life couple, Keith Lee, or the former Keith Bearcat Lee, whatever that means, and his real-life girl, Mia Yim. Someone else I think could have really positively contributed to either Raw or SmackDown's women's division. Instead, what do they have her doing? Wearing a goofy mask and a part of Retribution. And where did that go? Nowhere. And she was never featured on TV again. Keith Lee had some bright spots. I liked the altercation that he had with Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. I wanted to see a one-on-one match between these guys. Hell, I still do, but it's not going to happen now. Very disappointed with the run that Keith Lee had on the main roster. And I understand he did have COVID earlier this year, and thank goodness that he made it through that. I heard that it was very serious, and kudos to Mia Yim for being there every step of the way with him. That's somebody you want in your corner. But all in all, ladies and gents, these are the names that have been released by the company. A couple of them I could see going to AEW. Mainly the main ones, if I were Tony Khan, I'd get Scarlett and Kross and Keith Lee and Mia Yim. Mia Yim could bolster up the AEW's women's division. Actually, Frankie Monet and Ember Moon could as well if you wanted to bring them in. But where do you think these talents are going to go, ladies and gents? Were you surprised by any of these names? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a good one.